Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Keith Thurman says that nobody really wants Terence Crawford's WBO version. Now, listen, Keith Thurman's not really in a position where he should be saying that he doesn't want the WBO belt. I want to see Keith Thurman fight Terence Crawford. I think that's a great fight. I think it's a great matchup. He said that he'd rather go for every other version and then go for Terence Crawford's after last resort. And PBC are disrespecting Terence Crawford by saying that, because at the end of the day, for me, WBO is a world championship belt. Just because the PBC don't recognize the WBO, they feel that the WBO is not as credible, is disgraceful, because as far as I know, the WBO is a legitimate world organization, and it's a legitimate world championship. The PBC were thinking about bringing out their own world championships belt, which I would think are ridiculous, which I would say that are not credible. Why would PBC? It's like Matchroom bringing out their own belts, or Top Rank bringing out their own belts. It would be absolutely ridiculous. The organizations are credible. WBO, WBA, WBC, IBF. These are credible organizations, and whoever holds a belt of any of these organizations is a legitimate world champion, as far as I'm concerned. You know, to say that just because none of your fighters hold the WBO, to say that it's not a legitimate belt is ridiculous. And I think that's what they're doing with Terence Crawford. I don't buy into that. Listen, I'm not saying everything that Terence Crawford does is great. I think there's a lot of things that he's done wrong. I felt like he's misleaded the fans a little bit, in the sense that, you know, he said that he wants to fight the PBC guy. Sean Porter's begging for a fight with him, and he's not, in my opinion, pursuing it for some reason. And then he's kind of like coming out and saying that, well, the fans don't really know. They don't know the ins and outs. Well, as far as I'm concerned, Sean Porter's dad and Sean Porter have been asking for that fight, but there's been no response from Terence Crawford's side. It's as if Terence Crawford has said that he's not interested in that fight. So Terence Crawford doesn't make himself look good either. But what I will say is that PBC, Keith Thurman saying that nobody really cares about the WBO, I don't agree with that. As a fan, I know that Terence Crawford is a legitimate champion holding the WBO version. The WBO version is not any less than the WBA, WBC, IBF. I know these organizations, people view them differently. So I know the WBC is seen as the most prestigious belt to hold, but nevertheless, WBA is also a great belt to hold. The IBF and WBO are not far behind. You know, they're also legitimate belts as far as I'm concerned. And I think we don't need fighters to have that kind of mindset. Oh, the WBO is not the fact is, the WBO, you hold the WBO title, you are a legitimate world champion in the fans' eyes and most people's eyes. What the relevant, it's a small cult. It's basically a promoter, a manager, you know, that Al Heyman, right, that's managing fighters. You know, that's not the whole of boxing. The whole of boxing is Top Rank, Matchroom, you know, so many other promoters. But at the end of the day, there's no such thing as side of the street. Everybody's working together. You know, Top Rank work with Matchroom. Look at Matchroom, for example. Eddie, and he works with everybody. He works with Top Rank. He works with you know, everyone. Every Golden Boy, you know, he works with Al Heyman. He works with everyone. And that's what Al Heyman should be doing. Should be working with everyone. It shouldn't be pick and choose. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing is for these promoters is to give the fans what they want. And at the minute, you'd say they're failing in that department. They're not giving the fans what they want. They're doing what they want to do. And by saying that the WBO is not a legitimate belt, again, shows that you know, they're just trying to make out that Terence Crawford's not a world champion just because it suits them. He is a world champion. He's a legitimate world champion. You know, so for Keith Thurman to say nobody cares about the WBO, well, they do care. Fighters might not care, but the fans know that Crawford's a legitimate world champion. He's a legitimate world champion. Let's not forget, that belt was taken from Manny Pacquiao, from Jeff Horn, right? Who's currently the WBA world champion. So that belt is legitimate, as far as I'm concerned. So that's my take on it. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.